Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Frazier Field for Babe Ruth pool tournament time. They play 4 games in the pool to try and get end points to get to move up the ladder and eventually get to the states, the regionals, and hopefully the nationals. But they got to take the first step first. We're doing this by the seat of our pants. Revere took a month to get a lineup together. This is Riker Flehy. Michael Cronin is on the mound, throwing to Tyler Lopes. This is the 14-year-olds. The 15, 16-year-olds got a big win over Saugus. In for a strike. The 3-2 pitch. Hit foul. Again, the 3-2 pitch hit off his foot. Hit to third. Nice play by the third baseman, Jordan Godino. Over to the first baseman, Jacob Morin, with the out. 1 up, 1 down. Swing and a miss. This is Guglielmi. I think it's, they just put an initial down. They put KJ. Looks like KJ. It's hard to read the writing. He's the left fielder. Bright light shining here. It's nice the rain had stopped. It's a little bit cool, but it's nice. Hit to short. And that's not a very good throw. He just nonchalantly threw it. Williams going to wind up at second base on the error. He fielded it, just off balance, threw it way over the first baseman's head. Carlos Gutierrez, the shortstop, is the hitter. Hit foul. off the third baseman's glove. Can't make the play. Back-to-back errors. And Revere has runs at first and third with one out. All of a sudden, it's getting bright. It was dark. The lights are on, but now over to the left is a really nice, can't call it sunset, but it's bright colors over to the left of the field, out in the outfield, and it's brightening up. So first and third with one out here in the top of the first for Revere. I mentioned this is the 14-year-olds. 15 and 16-year-old Lynn had a walkover over Revere. Hit up the middle for a base hit. Jumped on the first pitch. Braden Malm. And two errors with the base hit allows Revere to grab a 1-0 lead. Manny Juarez, the first baseman, will be the hitter. Hit tap to third. And it's thrown away. Two runs are going to score. Lynn are being very special hosts. Juarez winds up all the way at third base. Mom scores all the way from first.
Number 19,
and all of a sudden, Revere has a 3-0 lead. Three infield errors. Conference out on the mound. So a hard way to start. Lynn brings the infield in. Away for a ball. We get a break. We're going to show you the skyline out to the left. Had really brightened up. What a nice, outstanding view spreading out behind the outfield fence. Moving along. Making a very nice night here after it rained. Not rain hard, but it rained most of the day. This is Dan Edwards, the extra hitter. And in this Babe Ruth program, you have extra hitters. You don't have a DH. He's not hitting for anybody. He's hitting for himself. It's an extra hitter. So you bat 10 instead of batting 9. Still one out with a runner at third with 3 runs in. Couldn't ask for a better start. For Revere, or a worse start for Lynn. Swing and a miss in on the hands. Swung right through it. Cronin gets a strikeout. So 2 away. So he gets the first out on a ground out, but then 3 consecutive errors. Throw in a base hit. Hit foul to the backstop. So Lynn's going to have some work to do.
How do you guys say the next kid's name? Marco Scarini? Deny. Thank you. Scarini. Thank you. Come on, we're having fun. Listen to you. Hold on. It's the writing. It's not us. Please correct me, okay? No.
Anthony Adonis, the right fielder, is the hitter. In for a strike. Backs away from that one, was way inside. Hit foul off his foot. Popped up, long run, can't get there. Good effort by the catcher, Tyler Lopes. Deuces wild, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. And he swung through it. And he'll throw him out at first base. So back-to-back strikeouts gets him out of the inning, but 3 errors. Cost Lynn dearly. Revere winds up with 3 runs with 1 base hit. So it's 3-0 Saugus. Braden Mom on the mound for Revere. Throwing to Jason Oliveri, the catcher. For Lynn, it'll be Dante DeManio. Second baseman leading off. Braden Nicosia, the shortstop, batting second. Playing first and batting third, Jacob Morin. The center fielder, Isael Rodriguez, will hit cleanup. Jordan Godino will play third and bat fifth. Catching and batting sixth, Tyler Lopes. Amari Quintana will be the EH, hitting seventh. Pitching and batting eighth, Michael Cronin. Amani Rosario will hit number 9, and Henry Gustin, the left fielder, will hit number 10. So Lynn's got some catching up to do, as there were very special hosts giving away 3 runs. But Braden Mom on the mound will graciously take him.
Leading off the Lynn, the second baseman, number 9, Dante Domeno.
Dante Domeno, the second baseman, leads it off. Throws right, bats left. Nice, the button fouls it off. Way wide, goes to the backstop. Revere coach told me they only had 1 practice. Missing wide for a ball. Wide again for a ball. Still a little bit different for the 14-year-olds. They're a year out of Little League, moving over to the big diamond. Got help on that pitch. That was up and away. That was ball 4. He lines it in the center field for a base hit. So Lynn has a base runner with nobody out here in the bottom of the first. Braden Nicosia. His father was one of the coaches. His grandfather made me look pretty good when I pitched fast pitch softball. Tony Nicosia was the shortstop with the crew with Frank Carey and Buddy Papagelis and Mike Burke and Billy Devon, Joe and Tommy Urubino. Great crew. I won a few games because I played with some great players. The runner takes off, steals second easily. Didn't get a throw. Tony Kosher was also a very good baseball player. Played with Tony Canigliaro at St. Mary's. As did Frank Carey. That pitch was way up and in. Diving, nice effort by the first baseman Juarez. Almost made the play. Nicosia chased that pitch, was over his head. Pat Whale is the head coach, Tony Nicosia, Bill Moran, Andrew Lang assisting. Wide for a ball. Took a good look at that one with 2 strikes. Hit in the air to right field, long run. Going back over off the right fielder. They're going to send the runner. Nicosia winds up with a double, and Lynn is on the board. Hit that a long way the other way. Good effort by Adonis. So Lynn gets on the board. They have a runner at second base, Jacob Moran. The first baseman is the hitter. In for a strike. In for strike 2. I hope I'm pronouncing Braden Malm's name correctly. It looks like it's hard to read the Revere lineup. Looks like M-O-M. They were a long time getting it done, and then they had a hurry to get it done. And hard to read. Strike 3 called. Moran looks and says to the umpire, that pitch was outside.
Number 14,
Isael Rodriguez. The center fielder is the hitter. So obviously, Moran wasn't happy with that call. Down the way for a ball. That's going to be a base hit to right field. And that's going to score a run. The ball gets away. And they throw it away again out in the outfield. He's going to keep going. He's going to score. He gets a single. He goes to second on the error by the right fielder. He comes all the way around the score on the error by the pitcher. So Lynn gave it away to Revere. Revere's giving it back. Lynn has tied it up at 3. Rodriguez had a base hit. The run scored. When the throw came in, it got away. He went to second. And then they threw the ball into center field, and he was able to go all the way around and score. Jordan Godino, the third baseman, is the hitter. So we're right back where we started, dead even, after Revere jumped out to a 3-0 lead. High and tight for a ball. in for a strike. So a single by Rodriguez and 2 errors allows him to come all the way around to tie the game. Line shot into right field for a base hit. Lynn going to the right side. The double by Nicosia, the base hit by Rodriguez, now the base hit by Godino. Domeno was the left-handed hitter that went up the middle. Tyler, I'll say it twice. Lopez and Lopes. Hope I get it right once. He squares like he's going to bunt. Takes the pitch for a strike. Lopez is the catcher. Way up and in, and the runner steals second base. So the go-ahead run at second base. In for a strike. 1-2 the count to the Lynn catcher. The runner takes off for third, easily in with a stolen base. They've been running and they've been successful. Swing and a miss for strike 3. So both outs have been strikeouts. Amari Quintana, the extra hitter. Oh, for a ball. Wearing an unusual number 99. Cadino getting a jump off third base. Mom stepped off to drive him back. Way wide for a ball. Michael Cronin, the pitcher, on deck. Low for a ball, nice stop by the catcher, Oliveri. The 3-0 pitch up and coming. Ball 4, that's going to score a run, the wild pitch. So Revere gets 3. Lynn says, we'll give you 3. We'll raise you 1. We'll get 4.
Now batting the pitcher, number 12,
Michael Cronin throws right, bats left. He's the 8th hitter in the inning. That goes to the backstop. Pushes Quintana to second base. That's another wild pitch. That was nowhere near. That was closer to the Lynn dugout than it was home plate. So after the walk, Quintana winds up at third on 2 Major League wild pitches. And he gets it again. The run's going to score. So a walk and 3 wild pitches. Gives Lynn their 5th run of the inning. And that's ball 4. Back-to-back walks keeps the inning alive. Amani Rosario.
No, it's not Rosario. This is Dylan Lang, 55. I think Rosario was late, John, so they didn't have him on
So I'm looking. I had Amani Rosario. He hadn't showed up when they were getting ready, when they had the lineup made up. They had his name in, but didn't have his number in. So I assumed it was Amani Rosario. It's not. It's Dylan Lang. A bizarre first inning. Revere given 3 runs with 3 errors. Now with wild pitches and walks. Revere giving it back, and Lynn has scored 5. Lynn got a couple of base hits, but stolen bases. A double error on a base hit by Rodriguez. And then a walk to Quintana, followed by 3 wild pitches. And another walk to Cronin. Dylan Lang is up at bat with deuce as well. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs with a runner at second base. If he gets on, Lynn will have batted around in the first inning. Swing on this. So the 3 outs are strikeouts. But Lynn sends 9 to the plate. They score 5 runs. They get 4 base hits, but they were helped out by a lot of wild pitches and a couple of big errors. So after Revere takes a 3-0 lead into the bottom of the first, Lynn has taken a 5-3 lead into the second inning. 8, 9, and 10 for Revere as we start the second inning. Again, a bizarre first inning. Revere all excited. They scored 3 runs. They only got 1 base hit, but Lynn made 3 big errors. And Revere had the lead. And then all of a sudden, Lynn gets it back. Domeno got a hit. Nicosia got a double. Domeno scored on the double. Nicosia scored on a base hit by Rodriguez. Rodriguez scored when the throw coming back from the outfield was thrown away. And then when they tried to get him in second, they threw the ball to center field. He came all the way around to score to tie the game. But then Godino got a base hit, stole second, stole third, scoring a wild pitch. Quintana got a walk, went to second, third, and home on wild pitches. And it's 5-3. Marco Sperati leads off for Revere. He's the center fielder. Swing and a miss. Up and away for a ball. With all the rain, question, are they going to be able to play? Is the rain going to stop? It slowed down so that they could play the first game. It was still raining a little bit before this game started, but it stopped when the game started. And it's been a decent night. Not a night for t-shirts and shorts, but a decent night. Hit foul to the backstop, and the count goes full. Swing and a miss, he gets him. That's 3 strikeouts in a row. 2 strikeouts to end the first inning. A strikeout to start the second inning. Anthony Massano, the second baseman, will be the hitter. Takes the pitch for a strike. He squared the bunt, took the pitch. This is not a very big strike zone up bat now. On the corner for strike 2. Hit to third base. Nice play by Godino. That's his second assist in 2 innings. 2 up, 2 down in the second. Jason Oliveira, the catcher. Top of the order on deck. In for a strike. Swing and a miss. The 0-2 pitch, up and coming. That one bounces to the backstop. That one goes to the backstop, evens the count. Deuces wild, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in inning number 2. And Lynn is leading by 2. Hit back to the mound. Easy play for Cronin. A 1-2-3, a little bit different than the first inning. A 1-2-3 inning. Three strikeouts in 2 innings for Cronin. And for Lynn, it'll be 9, 10, and 1. Starting the bottom of the second inning. Again, this is pool play. Each team plays 4 games, and you pick up the points along the way, and then point-wise, they take the top teams and move them to the state tournament. And if Lynn, any of there's 3 teams, 13's, 14's, 15 and 16's. If any one of the 3 teams or all 3 teams come out on top of picking up the points to get ready for the state tournament, they could be back here at home. They're looking with this pool play and moving up the ladder to try and get a spot in the state tournament, and then try to get a spot in the regional and in the national. A couple of years ago, the Lynn Babe Ruth team, one of them, went to the nationals. We've had some success with the Babe Ruth program. It started a long time ago. Babe Ruth program started right here at Frazier Field. They played their games here. It wasn't till a year or two that they moved down to where they are now at Breed. Henry Gustin, number 5, leading off for Lynn in the bottom of the second inning. He's the left fielder in for a strike. Hit sharply right to the second baseman. Paisano makes the play over to Juarez. 1 up, 1 down on the ground ball to second base. Now we have the top of the order. Ante Domeno led off the first inning with a base hit, stole second, and scored on Nicozia's double. Missing wide for a ball. Domeno was the second baseman. Domanio, Domanio. Wide again. So Mom struck out the side in the first inning, but he gave up 4 base hits, and there was 1 big error, and a walk hurt because the walk came around to score. Actually, it was 2 errors on 1 play. In for a strike, taking all the way with the count 3-0. Still be fussy. This has got to be a pitch he can handle. Fouls it back. Reached for that one. That might have been ball 4. Somebody better tell the umpire. Now they do. He didn't realize that the ball bounced back and was right behind him. So 3-2 coming up to Dominio. Fouls it off. Up in the seats. So here we go again, 3-2. Hit in the air to center field. Drifting back, making the one-handed catch is Spirati. Spiriati. I emphasize, because it's become a thing for me, everybody now catches one hand. Any game you watch, ball's hit in the air, one-handed catch. Wide for the ball. Braden Nicosia double to right field, knocking in a run, and then scored a run. Hits it foul off to the right side out of play. Swing and a miss in on the hand, swung right through it. The 1-2 pitch. Waves at it for strike three. So after a bizarre first inning, both pitches settle down and both pitches get 1, 2, 3 innings. We've completed 2 in this 14-year-old pool play, Babe Ruth was. 5-3 Lynn over Revere. Top of the order for Revere as we start the third inning. Recca, Playa, grounded out third to first. He's left-handed hitter, right fielder for Revere. I think he's lefty all around. Tries the bunt, pops it foul. Cadino was charging in from third base, looking for the bunt. Cronin starting his third inning. That one bounced just as it got to home plate. Hit up the middle. They throw it away. The runner's going to try and go to second base. Out at second base. Throwing way over the first baseman's head. Great hustle by the catcher to back up. So it's an error on the play. Great hustle by the catcher to back up the play, and they threw the runner out at second base. So Lynn got a break there. The throw was a mile over the first baseman's head. Hit foul toward the Lynn dugout. The 1-1 pitch up and coming. Hit foul again to the Lynn dugout. Seems funny to see Manning Field completely black, no lights, nothing going on. For all the sports, all the high schools done, there's not much going on there now. Usually it's jam-packed all day. Way wide for a ball. And the count evens at 2. Right where the catcher went. Tyler Lopez set up on the outside corner. Cronin threw it right on the glove. And it's a call, third strike. Two up, two down in the third. Carlos Gutierrez reached on one of the 3 errors and scored a run. In for a strike. Swing and a miss. Quickly 0-2. That one bounced in.
Sorry, folks. Number 8, Carlos Gutierrez.
Swing and a miss. 8 in a row retired after that bizarre first inning by Cronin. Five of them by strikeout. So Revere is down in the third inning. For Lynn, it'll be 3, 4, and 5, the middle of the batting order. Turned out to be a very nice night. Just cool enough so it's not a pain in the neck. The rain is gone. There's a decent little crowd here for a game. And, a lot of people might have come but said, the rain, they probably won't play. Or you won't be able to sit out in the rain. So it probably caused a lot of people to stay home. And there was not a lot of publicity that these games were being played. In fact, there was no publicity that these games were being played. Braden Baum will start his third inning of work. He's retired 4 in a row. He's got 4 strikeouts. Then committed their 4th error in the top of this inning, but Great backup by the catcher, Tyler Lopez. Got the errant throw at first base and threw the runner out trying to go to second. Jacob Moran, the first baseman, was called out on strikes his first trip. Back in the first inning. Way wide for a ball. In for a strike. Low for a ball. And the count goes 2-1. Swing and a miss. Evens the count at 2. Down and away. And we got another full count. Right down the middle. He started to go to first base, but that was right down the middle. Five strikeouts for Mom. And Ciel Rodriguez gets hit by the pitch. He got a base hit to right field. Getting an RBI. And then he came all the way around the score when they threw the ball away from right field and threw the ball away when he went to go to second base. 2 errors on the play. He went all the way around the score. Rodriguez will steal second base. So Mom had retired 5 in a row. They're going to third, and he steals third. Lynn just been running. That's their 5th stolen base. On the corner for a strike. So a hit batsman, 2 stolen bases, puts Rodriguez at third base with 1 out. Way inside for a ball. 3-1 the count to Godino, the third baseman, who singled and scored in the first. Yeah, that's ball 4. Third walk given up by Mom. Along with the hit batsman. Godino is taking off, and he just walks to second base. I don't know if he was trying to get a run down, maybe steal a run. He just took off to second base. Nobody looked at him. Nobody moved. High and tight for a ball, 2-0. in for a strike. And the count goes 2-1. And that in the dirt goes by, the run's going to score. Down low into the turf. The wild pitch. That's 3 runs they've scored on wild pitches. And they scored the run on that error. So that's 4 of the 6 that they have. Down and away. So Godino's now at third. This is Tyler Lopes, the catcher, who struck out swinging. He draws a walk. And that's going to bring a trip out to the mound. So they started the inning with a strikeout, but then a hit batsman and back-to-back walks, along with stolen bases and wild pitches, has given Lynn another run, making it 6-3. And they have first and third. And the way things are going, I would assume they're going to steal second base. Looks like the first baseman, Juarez, is going to be the new pitcher. And Mom will go to first base. Throw gets thrown away. 2 runs are going to score. Cornels will wind up at second base on the error. So they don't have a base hit, but they've got three runs in the inning. Hit, nice stop by the third baseman, and he threw it way away. The runner at second couldn't go anywhere. It's another 2-base error. The runner at second couldn't go anywhere. The ball hit right to the third baseman. They got 3 runs. Yeah. I'll have to find out who this is. Dylan Lang is being hit for. Mike.
Substitute number 15, Amari Rosario.
Oh, so we found out Amari Rosario was going to be the starting right fielder. So now we know who that is. We had his name, but we didn't have his number. Swing and a miss. And that bounces by, and the run's going to score. winds up at third base. They got 4 runs in the inning and they don't have a base hit. Wild pitch, error, wild pitch. Hit off the second baseman. That's a base hit. That's a tough play for the second baseman. And all of a sudden, it's a double-digit lead for Lynn. They lead it 10-3. They matched the 5 they got in the first inning, getting 5 here. They take off, and they got another stolen base. They just run, and run. The 2-2 pitch up and coming. Way up over the head. Nice job by the catcher Oliveri to keep that near the plate so the runner stays at second base. They've got the runner hooked up. And everybody chasing him. He's safe at second base. They don't get him. They had some of the outfielders involved. Everybody involved in that, picking him up. He was going to steal third base, and he got nailed. But then he got back to second base, and they didn't get him. Everything going Lynn's way here in this inning. They don't have a hit, and they got 5 runs. Way inside. In for a strike, taking all the way with the count 3-0. This is Henry Gustin, the left fielder who grounded out second and first. And that's ball 4. Three walks, a hit batsman, 2 errors. Dave DeManio singled and scored, fly to center field. He's the second baseman for Lynn. He gets the bunt down, and they throw him out. So he gets credit for a sacrifice. Moves the runners up to second and third. Braden Nicosia doubled in a run and scored. Struck out swinging his last time. Hit to short. They get the out. I'm sorry, that's the third out. They got the First out was a strikeout. I missed the strikeout. So they finally get out of the inning, but Lynn bats 10 in the inning. They score 5 runs. They do it with 1 base hit. And now, after trailing 3-0 going into the bottom of the first, going into the top of the fourth, they lead it 10-3 over Revere. We're in the top of the 4th inning. It'll be 4, 5, and 6 for Revere, as Michael Collins got a few more runs to work with. He had a skinny 2-run lead going into the bottom of the 3rd. Lynn got 5 runs on 1 base hit. 3 walks, a hit batsman, wild pitches, errors. Hit by the right field, they're going to be a double. They're playing very shallow in the outfield. Braden Malm gets his 2nd hit. He had an RBI single and scored a run. Now he starts the 4th inning with a double.
Now batting, number 34, Suarez.
Cronin had retired 8 in a row before that double. Manny Juarez went all the way around to 3rd base on an error thrown away at first base, down the right field line. That was 1 of 3 errors in the 1st inning, and 2 runs scored on that error. And then Juarez wound up at 3rd base. Swing and a miss. He chased the pitch down and away. Manny Juarez, was the first baseman. He's now the pitcher. Solid shot, foul. He hit that a ton. That's one of the hardest balls we've seen hit in this game or the previous game, the 15 and 16-year-olds. That was a shot. But he pulled it just enough to went foul down in the Lynn bullpen down in left field. So we'll do it again at 0-2. Curveball, he knew it too. Curveball, he backed away and dropped in nicely. So after hitting that shot, he gets struck out called on a perfect breaking ball by Cronin. 6 strikeouts for Cronin. Dan Edwards, the extra hitter, struck out swinging. He hits a rocket to left field, deep, almost out of the ballpark, way down the bullpen on the fly. Tried to get way out in front of it and pulled it well foul. So a long strike. Had a duck out of that one. That was a little bit inside, right over his head. High for a ball. Bounces off the catcher, and now they throw it away. And they throw it away again. So the wild pitch, he goes to third. Error on the catcher. Brings the run home. So all 4 runs for Revere are unearned. 5 errors in the game by Lynn. 3 in the first inning gave them their 3 runs. The error here gives them I think Lopes thought that was strike 3. He threw the ball to the third baseman. It's strike 2. It's 3-2. Nah, that's strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts. Anthony Adonis. The right fielder struck out, was thrown out by Lopes at first base. High for a ball. That one bounces in the turf for ball 2. Missing for ball 3. In for a strike. And it's ball 4. So that extends the 4th inning for Marco Sperati, who struck out swinging his 1 trip. The runner got a big jump. Throw bounces into center field. No way Lopes was going to throw him out. He got a huge jump off the bag. So Adonis steals second base. Hit to second base. I don't know where the first baseman was going. First baseman almost went to get the ball. There would have been nobody at first base to throw it to. So the ground ball to second ends the inning, but to double the wild pitch and the error trying to throw him on to third base, Mom scores the run. Revere gets a run in the inning. We're halfway through the ball game with Lynn having a 10-4 lead over Revere. It'll be 3, 4, and 5 for Lynn as we start the bottom of the fourth inning. Revere is virtually giving the lead away. They were leading 3-0. And Lynn got 3. They get a couple of hits, but there was two big errors on one play. A wild pitch scored a run, and then a wild pitch scored another run to give Lynn a 5-3 lead. And then they got 5 in the third inning, and they only got one base hit. Three walks, a hit batsman. Two of the walks scored, the hit batsman scored. There were 2 errors that both scored. Jacob Moore has been called on strikes twice. Gohern, the left fielder, is now the first baseman. Mom went someplace. In for a strike. That one bounced out in front of home plate, went to the backstop. Fishing low for a ball. Whereas starting an inning for the first time, he came in relief. Swinging and missing is Morin, and the count goes 2-2. That one, we try to take something off, or it just slipped. It went, sailed right over the head, way inside over the head of Morin. The payoff pitch up and coming. And it's ball 4. Sixth walk given up by Revere.
Number 14, Rodriguez.
Asale Rodriguez singled in a run and scored, got hit by a pitch and scored. So he's 1 for 1, scoring 2 and knocking in 1. The runner takes off. Another stolen base. Trying to keep the runner close at second base. Nice stop by the catcher, Oliveri. He's had a workout behind home plate. Hit in the right center field. That's a base hit. Sperati does a nice job, the center fielder, holding it to a single. Rodriguez is on for the third time. He's got his second RBI. So again, a walk hurts. Jordan Godino has singled, walked. Both times he scored. Will they steal second base? Yes, they will. Ten stolen bases by Lynn. And now they're going to try and make it 11, and they do. As he steals third. So they matched the run that Revere got in the top of this inning to get their 7-run cushion back. Pop foul. Godino has single, walked, scored twice. And he's stolen 3 bases. He scored on an error and scored on a wild pitch. And that's been the story of the game virtually. And that just sailed over the head. Another wild pitch. Another run scored. So walking a hit starts the bottom of the fourth and both score. And we got a trip coming out to the mound. Major conference out on the mound. The new pitcher is Anthony Adonis. We've got Rocco Sperati. I'm assuming he's brother of Anthony. Going in to play first base. So Juarez went to the bench. And that was Godino drawing a walk. Tyler Lopes has struck out, walked and scored. Up and away for a ball. And there goes the runner again. It's been a track meet for Lynn. All they've been doing is running. Almost looked like a balk, except he was off the rubber. It looked like he was faking to throw the ball home and then turning and throwing to second. If he was on the rubber faking to the plate, it would have been a balk. Another wild pitch. At 10 wild pitches. High for ball 4. So we got a walk, a hit, back-to-back walks. 4 hitters in the inning, all 4 have reached. Amari Quintana has walked and reached on error and scored twice. And before the ball reaches home plate, Lopez is at second base with the stolen base. Wild pitches and stolen bases both in double digits. Off the catcher, the run's going to score. Thirteen to 4. He was looking square in the bunt, and he had just had his life pass in front of him. Now he had to quickly dive out of the way. That was head high, way inside. And that's ball 4. Four walks in the inning. 9 walks in the game, along with a hit batsman. Michael Cronin has walked, reached on error, and scored a run. And there goes the runner. No, they're not even looking at the runner at first base. The pitchers still have the ball when Quintana took off to run to second base. And he was just looking at the bat, didn't look at the runner at all. Hit foul up in the seats. Hit in the right center field for a base hit. They hold the runner at third. And guess what? They stole second base. If this was the 5th inning, the game would be over. High for a ball. Hit to the mound. I'm not sure why the runner was trying to score. That wasn't very good base running. Hit foul. This is Amani Rosario. He went in as a pinch hitter. He got a base hit and knocked in a run. excuse me, this is Henry Guston. Amani Rosario hit that ball back to the mound. And the runner just walks to second base. Nobody's even covering second base. They're just letting them go. Second base and shortstop, they're not within 20 feet of second base. Gaston is grounded to second and walked. Hit foul up in the seats. Almost into the lap of the fans. Count evens at 2. High and tight for a ball. Hit foul back. And it's caught. The fan gets a round of applause. He made the catch. He's sitting right in front of us, and he reached up and caught it one hand. Nice job. Strike 3 held on to nicely by the catcher Oliveri. Two away. Tante Dominio singled, fly to center, laid down a sacrifice bunt. So he's 1 for 2 with a run scored. Down away for a ball. He's the 9th hitter in the inning. They batted around in the 3rd. If he gets on, they'll bat around in the 4th. And he is getting on. That's a base hit. So it's 1st and 3rd for the moment. Again, he's off. He's just taking runs and just walks into second base. I don't think I've ever seen this. Foul tip held on to nicely by Oliveri. 18 stolen bases for Lynn. Call strike 3. So they bat around for the 2nd inning. They do it again. They're in a rut. They either don't score or they score 5. They got 5 more. We finished 4. This will be the last inning unless Revere scores 2. They need 2 runs to extend the game so the mercy rule doesn't kick in. It's 15-4 Lynn going into the top of the 5th. 9, 10, and 1. I believe it's Rocco Sperati he went in to play right field. He's hitting for the second baseman. They made all kinds of changes, and they don't tell us. So it's Rocco Sperati.
Leading off for Revere, Rocco 50.
They need to score 2. Swing and a miss. And we got a new pitcher. Raiden Poor is the new pitcher for Lynn. Hit foul off to the right side. So Cronin goes 4. Gives up 4 runs. They're unearned. He gave up only 2 base hits. He pitched very well. Struck out 7, walked a batter. The walk didn't hurt. But 4 errors resulted in the 4 runs. So 4 unearned runs. Cronin gives up. Strikes out 7, walks a batter, and he's going to get the win. Poor trying to wrap it up. And that's a call. I didn't see the umpires come up with a signal, but it's a call, 3rd strike. High and tight for a ball. Hit foul. This is John Feely hitting for Oliveri. Popped up. Nice one-handed catch. I think it's still Dominio at second base. So Revere is down to their last out. And it'll be Gavin Graham pinch hitting. So the first game, the 15 and 16s, a mercy rule Saugus in 4 innings with a 15-run mercy rule. The 14s, it appears as though they're going to mercy rule Revere in 5 innings with the 10-run rule. It's 15 after 4, 10 after 5. Swing and a miss. Hit in the air, the second baseman, Domeno, makes a 1-2-3 inning. Poor comes in and does the job. And Lynn is going to win their first game in the 14-year-old pool division. Revere jumped out to a 3-0 lead. 2 errors, a base hit by Braden Mom, and then another error brought in 2 runs. It was 3-0. Lynn got 5 back in the first inning. An RBI double by Nicosia, an RBI single by Rodriguez. there were 2 errors on Rodriguez's hit. He wound up scoring. Codino got a base hit, scored in a wild pitch. Quintana walked and scored in a wild pitch. It was 5-3 at the end of 1, and that's really all they needed. They added 5 more. They batted around in the 3rd inning. They got 1 base hit, an RBI by Rosario. Other than that, it was walks, hit batsmen, and errors, and it was 10-3. Then Revere made it 10-4. Braden Mum got his 2nd hit, got a double. The ball got away from the catcher. A wild pitch. He went to 3rd. They threw it into left field trying to get him. He scored the run to make it 4 for Saugus, and that was all they got. That was it. Lynn batted around again in the 4th inning, getting 5 more, making it 15-4, and that was the final score. For Lynn, Domeno had a single, a sacrifice, a single, knocked in a run, scored a run. Braden Nicosia had an RBI double, scored a run. Jacob Moran had a walk, scored a run. Isael Rodriguez had a single, got hit by a pitch, singled, scored 3, knocked in 2. Jordan Godino had a single, 2 walks, scored 3. Tyler Lopes had 2 walks, scored 2. Amari Quintana had a walk, reached on error, walked, scored 2. Michael Cronin, the pitcher, had a walk, reached on error, and an RBI single, scored 2. Armani Rosario had a single, knocked in a run, and that was it. Cronin did very well. He pitched 4 innings, gave up only 2 base hits, struck out 7, walked a batter. The 4 runs were unearned, and then Poor come in with a quick 1-2-3 inning, and Lynn will go 1-0. Revere will go 0-1, and it was stolen bases, walks, and wild pitches that did it for Lynn, as with good strong pitching by Cronin, and Lynn wins it 15-4. So both games, the 15 and 16 and the 14, were both Mercy Rule wins by Lynn here at Frazier Field. So they both move on and go 1-0 in the start of the Babe Ruth Pool Series. 15-4 here, the 14-year-olds over Revere. We hope you enjoyed it. I'm John Hoffman saying we'll see you next time.